A federal health program for September 11th first responders after Congress let it expire. The Droga Act provided medical monitoring and treatment for those first responders. Supporters want it to become permanent because some illnesses may not become apparent for many years. But lawmakers are divided over the cost. More than 70,000 people are currently enrolled in the 9/11 health program. What happened to never forget, and is Congress putting politics ahead of our heroes' health? Funding for 9/11 responders is our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you. You can weigh in on our Fox 26 Facebook page or on Twitter. Use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom, we have our panel led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
All right, Chris Tritico is going to deliver a bit of sports news to us first.
That's right. Last night, as you know, Sally, last night was the 90th airing of the Battle of the Piney Woods.
A milestone.
The best university in Texas was victorious again, beat the Lumberjacks. We had them saying at the end of the game, timber, as they fell to the best university in Texas, 38-24. All right, so that's that.
Go Bearcats.
Let me
All
talk
right.
to you about this bill. I don't think there's anyone who is not in favor of this bill. I think that what you're hearing from someone in Congress, some in Congress, is that the money may be too much. I disagree. But I do have a question of what is the definition of first responder. My research indicates that more than 72,000 people have received compensation under this bill that is designed to pay medical costs for first responders. So I don't know what the definition of a first responder is. But Jackie Bally, this is a good bill. Congress should not have left without funding it.
I agree that no one is against this bill. I do agree with that statement. However, whenever I elect my congressman, I would expect them to do what they're doing. I would expect them to question how we're going to get the dollars to fund something like this. Other questions that we've seen is, you mentioned 70,000, Sally mentioned 70,000. Is that an accurate number? Were there 70,000, 70+ thousand responders there at the site? Because this bill was
on the definition of first responder.
This bill was specifically created for the responders who were there at the site and who actually suffered because of that. Also, questions that we've seen are definitions of what these illnesses are, because that tells us how much what a true cost will be. So I think the questions that we're hearing from Congress are questions that I would expect my congressman to ask. It will pass. We have the votes. It will pass. It's well funded into 2016. When they come back and reconvene, they'll vote for it.
The number 72,000 shocked me when I did the research on this story. But I don't think anyone can say, and I completely agree with those that say these illnesses will last a lifetime, and we need to fund this bill. This bill needs to be funded as long as any of these people are alive.
We're a country of 320 million people, and we live by a certain set of values, and those values are now being questioned, right? Do we support them or not? Same thing happens when we talk about the VA and funding for the VA, that we all believe in our military, but then we can buy a lot of bombers without question. But when it comes to funding health care for the veterans, we question, is it doing it accurately? Is there too much fat in it? So, it's the same conversation we've always had. Do we, live up to our values, or do we try to, nitpick the specific definitions of what a first responder is?
Did this funding bill fail passage? It didn't fail, but they didn't get to this because of the fight over Planned Parenthood and the fight to keep the government funded at all?
Look, it's easy for me just to kind of take a partisan stance and say, look, it's a Republican-controlled Congress. These are guys should have worked on a bill that's more important to the lives of families that live and worked in New York and part of that first responders group versus take shots at Planned Parenthood. But it is a system that we have elected people to be in, and it's really up to us. It's our responsibility to unelect those people that are making our government not work anymore.
How about that, Jackie? Did this fall to the fight over Planned Parenthood?
Well, think about it. I mean, a lot of the congressmen are saying they did not want to fund Planned Parenthood because of the suspicious acts that we've seen videotaped and acts that we think may be illegal. And if defunding Planned Parenthood actually goes through, then the dollars that they took away from Planned Parenthood, they actually could put in this responders bill.
Yeah. Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, guys, we will take a look at Twitter first. And at Traley7 says, we are better than this. Congress must work to reauthorize the 9/11 first responders bill. Do the right thing. And then one of the more outspoken lawmakers on this, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, says, talking about how doctors are really worried about, what's going to come next. She's quoting a doctor here saying, imagine you have a family member with cancer and the doctor's trying to plot out your long-term treatment. And she basically is saying we need to get this fully funded. And do you think that it should be a permanent fully funded thing?
I don't know why it wouldn't be, and why this would be subject to the whims of Congress when you have heroes. This is really talking about heroes. Right. The director of the program said that by February they will have to start turning people away if it's not reauthorized because they run out of money in May. And so Congress has really 5 months to get this done.
Yeah, it's 5 months to get it done, but it's the
With
anxiety.
a Christmas break in the middle.
Right, but it's just the anxiety of those families, right? It's people that now all of a sudden you start questioning 72,000. People wonder, am I in that 72,000? Am I not? Are they going to exclude me? Is that how they're going to fix this? So those families have some real issues that they're working through after this horrific tragedy, and we seem to not care about how they feel. But look, the larger issue is that we have to come together on important issues like this. We have to drop our partisanship, drop our usual political games, and pass legislation that'll help 72,000 families.
See, I don't think that the partisan fight is about this bill. I think the partisan fight is about other things that kept Congress from working on this.
It's the distractions.
Even the press secretary for the president was shocked whenever people were asking about this bill. He said, I've never even been asked about this bill before, because he knows that it's authorized well into 2016. We know we have the votes. It's going to pass.
So should it
but
be
the
permanent?
I think it should. My son is asthmatic, and so the symptoms that he has, he will have for the rest of his life. These are heroes who came to the site and saved and tried to help others who were injured. So yes, I do think it should be permanent. However, I do think that our congressmen are doing the right thing. We have to figure out where we're going to get the funding for this.
Should it be permanent?
It should be permanent. Again, we live in a country of 320 million people. It's our responsibility to take care of those 72,000 families that have lost someone or suffered the consequences of this. And we said we would be there, and we need to be there unequivocally.
Oh, well, I think we need to check that 72,000, though. I don't think we should just give a blanket to whomever said that they were there.